he's a tyrant for killing all those people.
Yeah.
Where people will celebrate, Churchill for letting all those Australian people die on that ship. What's going on, people? It's the boy B Yaks. We're going to another episode of Blight on the Wall. I'm here, my boy T Viz.
Come on, my G.
Patting up TV. Come on. So today we're going to talk about psychopaths and power.
Yeah.
So obviously, like a lot of leaders, throughout history, a lot of dictators, people with also presidents, you know what I'm saying, and prime ministers, political figures with power, and how I think a lot of people don't understand how power actually works. And I was watching this video by Brian Klaas, who's a political scientist, basically. Political scientist, and he's also a teacher.
Oh, he teaches as well?
Educator. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was just breaking down how people have to make in power, have to make difficult decisions.
Yeah.
Giving examples and also thought experiments that have been done on people as well. To reveal, who is a psychopath, who has psychopathic traits. You know what I'm saying?
Would you say that they probably had these traits prior to them being put in that position of power?
Yeah, so one of his main arguments is power corrupts. And people who want power are better than everyone else at obtaining power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's power that they want. They don't really their interest is not really like to do their job to the best of their ability. It's just the fact that they can
just power.
So much power. You know what I'm saying? That's going to affect.
Power is being in a position to control people, like that type of power, or just when you say power, what are you
power, of course. Power obviously plays out in so many different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's power from. I gave an example where in New York, headquarters of the UN in New York, and it's basically Egyptian diplomats and Yemenis diplomats were basically illegally parking. So so New York racked up millions of fines, innit? Obviously, diplomats have got diplomatic immunity. So you know what I'm saying? So even the police know they can't do anything. They've parked illegally, really.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the mayor of New York at the time was like, okay, we need to do something about this.
So we're not just going to give you a pass,
right?
Because
because you've got diplomatic
immunity.
So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So so obviously he said they had the Japanese diplomats. They were respecting the rules and parking properly. But he
why was they respecting?
In contrast,
the others weren't.
He compared it to the fact that in Egypt and Yemen, those are more inherently corrupt governments and corrupt systems.
Okay.
So people are just used to behaving corruptly and without no consequence.
Without no consequence.
Yeah,
so the more corrupt
the
nation is, the more likely the people represent them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and in Japan, it's more, things have more structure put in structure. There's corruption everywhere. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? But you can see the comparison.
Do you think corruption alone can breed that amongst people, to become
So what he said is, this is sick. He said, power attracts corrupt people.
Okay, it attracts corrupt people.
Do you know what I'm saying? And there isn't a lot of vetting, to actually determine if somebody's corrupt. Because he said as well, there's been tests that have been done on people, to show it actually changes the chemical balance in your brain when you obtain so much power.
Oh, is that deep?
You know what I'm saying?
The chemical balance of your brain.
Literally,
So is it a thing where once you got it, you want more, or you feel you could get away with more stuff, or you want to?
Another thing Brian Klaas was saying is over time, corrupt people become better at being worse, basically.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
So the longer they're in power, the more damage they'll do.
Exactly.
So that's why you can argue that some of these, when they're trying to get rid of dictators or people in power, they have an argument for that, because the longer this person's going to be in power, the more damage they can do.
Exactly.
So they can have an argument for that.
But exactly. So it's like, it's easy to call out a dictator and say, oh yeah, like, he's killed so many people, you know, but he's like, a lot of people with significant power are in situations where they have to make impossible decisions, and it calls that trolley problems. Real life.
You say impossible decisions or difficult decisions?
Impossible decisions.
Impossible.
He calls it, yeah.
Okay.
And he calls it, basically, there's this terminology, it's called trolley problem. So basically, if you have a train, and there's two, if you pull the lever, you can go left where there's one person tied up on the track. But if you go straight, there's multiple people that are tied up. On the track. So what are you gonna do? So either way,
I get that.
you're gonna affect somebody's life. There's gonna be a loss of life.
Someone has to get
there's an impossible.
So the more people gonna get licked down the one person.
Right. So there's an impossible trolley problems.
Yeah.
So he talks about Churchill in World War II.
Okay.
Like, in the middle of the war, they had a secret. Churchill had a secret. You know, they figured out the German Enigma codes, and they knew what the Germans were saying.
Yeah, what their next move was.
So they got, from a credible source, they got intel like the Nazis here are going to torpedo the ship full of Australians.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, on board. So if he warns them, if Churchill warns that ship that they're about to get nuked and they divert, that's gonna give the Nazis a clue that they got. So he decided not to warn the people on that ship.
Wait, what? He allowed it to happen? He allowed them to die?
Yes, yeah. So he decided not to.
Churchill was a madman.
Just so they can preserve, you know, hundreds and hundreds and thousands, you know what I'm saying? Even millions of lives, you know. So that was the trolley problem.
Would you say that was the right decision to make?
That he was faced.
Personally.
But look, I'm going to answer that in a second way. Because when he talks about Abbas Vijajiva, who used to be the Prime Minister of Thailand.
Yeah.
And there was protesters basically went to the streets to oppose the government, but there was militias there.
Right.
Amongst the protesters there, like attacking government forces, rocket-propelled grenade launchers. And, you know what I'm saying? And killing, you know, loads of people were dying basically.
Yeah.
So Brian Klaas spent a lot of time with this guy, Abbas, and he actually said that, you know, started to like him, even though he's done, you know, he's known for doing horrible things. You know? Right. So what he said at the time, in his own words, he was like, you know, there was talks of civil war brewing and that kind of stuff. So he was like, he generally feared there was going to be a risk of an imminent civil war. Yeah. So do you know what he decided to do? He was like, okay, right. He said he ordered the military, the government forces, to start using live rounds on the people, on protesters, basically. Yeah. So shortly after that, just under 100 people got killed. Yeah. Wow. So, he was just saying like, right, look, that makes my skin crawl. You know, that was a heavy hand there.
Did that quell the civil unrest? That move he made, did that prevent?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, evidently, yeah, because there wasn't a civil war. But again, that was his his real life trolley problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, there's an argument of whether that was too excessive or not. People were saying like, you know, that was a bit too harsh, you know, to order that.
Right.
But what Brian Klaas says, it's like, you got to judge them by their alternatives.
What are the alternatives?
You have to judge them, because Churchill and him, you know, there's certain leaders that are in a position where whatever decision that you make, people are going to die. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but why he used it too is because, like, one hand, people are gonna say, "Oh, Abbas Vijajiva," pardon me if I'm saying that wrong. He's a tyrant for killing all those people.
Yeah.
Where people will celebrate Yeah. Churchill for letting all those Australian people die on that ship.
Yeah.
You know, because he wanted to preserve more lives in World War II. But he still could have gave them that warning that they're about to get nuked, and those people ended up dying. You get me? So that is like, and it was like most people don't want power, you know, because
that's why I asked. That's why I asked that question. With that decision, Churchill, would you make that decision if you was in a position of power? Would you make that call?
Because with me, I'm for the people.
Yeah,
I'm for the people. So him deciding not to warn the Australian people on board that ship was the right thing to do, because Australia would have been fighting alongside or supporting, obviously, England.
Yeah.
So if you're engaged in a war, people die. So they're collateral. They're victims of war.
Yeah, they know that they could.
I'm not saying I'm not saying they deserved it, but they signed up for that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? For whatever reason that the Nazis decided they were going to take down that ship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it must have been for a significant reason.
Yeah, but it's war. They're the enemy. Do you understand?
Do you get what I'm saying? So, and man, it's like. But that's the reality of war. That's the reality of having power. You know what I'm saying? So, like even that's what I'm saying. With me, again, I'm for the people. You know, like back to that the former president of Prime Minister of Thailand.
Yeah.
You know, getting the military to start using live rounds on protesters. You know, it's like you can't gauge how many innocent people you're gonna kill compared to like war. Innocent people that always get hurt the most and die the most.
I personally think that was kind of in my position. I probably wouldn't get the military to fire live rounds at civilians.
Okay, how would you go about it?
But what I'll do, I'll include the military presence there. I'll be like, okay, the army's here.
Yeah.
Because some people could just having the army in that vicinity to make people conduct them. Could change a lot of things.
Yeah.
People just see the presence of the army.
But they weren't under heavy firepower from.
So they was getting shot.
But vigilante groups, bro.
So they was already
vigilante militias. They're already like attacking government forces.
They're already attacking government forces
with heavy machinery and weaponry. Bro.
Okay, that's different. yeah, that's a bit different, man.
You know,
right?
So maybe he could have been more strategic and try and prevent so much human life being lost. You know, so much civilian lives being lost. But how can he gauge? You know, he's in this position where he's got to make a decision.
Yeah.
Quick
decisions as well, on the cuff with the bigger picture. Yeah.
So
the argument is this is what comes with power, though.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
This is what comes with
Would
power.
you want that kind of power?
Ooh.
Because how'd you end up?
Because you could get, like, every decision you make, you're getting scrutinized for. And someone would, like, do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
So every decision you make, you're considering. It could be a L in every scenario. It's just which one's the bigger L. Does that make sense? So everyone could look at that and say, "Oh, you shouldn't have made that decision." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always get that critique, but in your head, you're making the right decision.
And also, what Brian Glass said is like when you're in power, it's not about making easy decisions. That's not.
No, it's not.
That's not what the job is. You've got to make difficult decisions. You know.
Yeah.
And with psychopaths, they know like obviously the negatives and the cons. We talk about pros and cons that will come with having that power. You know, that's the fame, the scrutiny of your family, and you know, like they can try to use anything against you that you've seen in the past, but they don't care. They just want.
So psychopaths don't even care. They just want that position.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Talks about the dark triad trait. You know? So these are the traits. You know, not obviously narcissism is obviously a big.
So you can even use that. What you said that psychopaths don't care, and go through like history of leaders and identify. You can see the ones that were and the ones that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they don't care about what decision they make, and so you can go in history. Yeah, that's the way.
So what he says basically. So what I get from what Brian Glass says is like power is generally about ego.
On a basic level, on a simplified level.
That's what I got out of that. You know, that video. It's literally about ego.
Ego, yeah.
Literally, because why is it that? So that means power must be a bad thing because the people who are in power. Yeah,
but would you say people
that have got the power to make the world a better place?
I won't say power's a bad thing. Could you say people that are in positions of leadership roles have a certain level of power, right?
It's the power that corrupts you.
If someone's a leader, if someone's got to follow a group of people that is a leader, right, in any department, and that could be from what they have more knowledge on this particular thing. They kind of have a direction that people, do you know what I mean? People have answers. They have. So is that always negative? If there's a person that's in a leadership position,
it depends what level of power. If you're working, for example, McDonald's, and there's a manager. And someone is on probation. After their probation, they decide, like, you know what, we thought, you weren't cutting it because of X, Y, and Z. You've got, you're still affecting somebody's life. If you say no, you've done.
Yeah, but that's inevitable, though, isn't it? Like,
no, not really. You can say like, oh yeah, you've done well. You've got the job. You're deciding someone's fate.
If they don't cut it, I know. But the world is right. Okay, now that's business, though. But if someone's not cutting it, I know you have the right to say, listen, you don't cut it for this position, and you're in a powerful position to tell them that no, you don't cut it for this thing here. What about you should have the right to do that, though.
Okay, so what about when you've got power where you decide where people are gonna live or die? You got power where that's gonna affect literally like austerity measures, that were enforced by the Conservatives, that literally caused deaths of people. That they took up,
that's a different level of power.
They had cuts, for disabled people, which, you know what I'm saying, literally resulted in people dying. So they didn't have the equipment, to live up, to survive, to function. You know what I'm saying? So all these cuts, it stops money, it stops resources. It's, and it affects people die. Like, that's,
people do.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's just domestically what I'm talking about.
So you're saying that to have that level of power to dictate the future of someone's life, or to have that is bad. You'll say that level of power.
So there's the level of power where any decision that you're gonna make is
gonna affect someone's life,
right? Or people are actually gonna die from it. Churchill, and Abbas Vijay Jiva.